Hey guys, this is going to be a tutorial on how to actually use Infernities. It's not a deck profile, although if you want me to do a deck profile, I will put another video up, either the video after this one, which is probably going to be a part 2, or after this one. So, to start off, I want to note that this is assuming that you know what the cards do, and that you've played the deck. So this is kind of a tip video for people who want to get better at playing the deck. Now, as you know, assuming that you have played the deck, these are your combo pieces, your Archfiend, your Necromancer, and your Avenger, and these are your enablers. This is your combo enabling pieces. And so the entire thing to do in the very beginning of the game, that was unpro of me anyway, is to protect your combo pieces and inevitably get them into the graveyard in a way that you can abuse your Monster Reborn, your Call of the Haunted, if you play Call of the Haunted, in cards like that. So, first thing I want to talk about is setup. Now, yes, you want to set up early, and you want to but you want to set up efficiently. What I mean by that is that during your very first turn, don't do everything in your power to go off, okay? Even though this is an OTK deck, you still want to play conservatively. Because Infernities, although they're not used to be about the grand game, they are now. Because there are many cards that your opponent has that can cripple the entire deck. Cards such as Necro Valley, the trap card, continuous trap card that shuts down traps. I'm just going to say Jinzo, because of the lack of remembering that I have for it. Anyway, so yeah, you want to protect your combo pieces. Remember to set up, but set up efficiently, meaning don't go all out. You still want to play conservatively. And so, now that you know that, I want to get into cards and combos. So the first card I want to talk about in an Infernity deck is going to be Infernity Guardian. People don't like this, I get that. Some people don't, but I personally play it because, in my opinion, it is the best defensive card in the game, given that you have no cards in your hand. Now, I have had plenty of duels where I have made the mistake of going off when my opponent has a field, or there was even one time they sang into an effective healer, and I still tried to go off, and they played the effective healer at the right time and totally just destroyed the entire combo. So this is a very good top deck in this deck. Sometimes the best top deck, because you know your opponent has cards like Solemn Warning and all that. So, and even sometimes you want to play this even when you're not top decking. And it's best played defensively, again, because it is a defensive card. And I want to note that if it is face down, if a card effect such as Dark Hole activates, it is sent to the graveyard, because it isn't flipped face up to see what it is. So just be careful of that. You want your opponent to attack into it. It's flipped up. They take damage if their monster's attack is less than 1700. As you can see right there, it's defense 1700. And stuff like that. It is also a level 4, which you can sometimes abuse if you want to go into your combos. Now, one of the best tips I can give in this deck is to abuse the hell out of Avenger. Okay, this card is really underestimated in the deck, and this is what makes the deck. This is what makes Infernities, is the Avenger build of Infernities, because you can abuse this card. Now, the reason it's ran at 2 is because its full potential is at 2. Or, I mean, maybe you're crazy enough to run 3, and potentially you can go into Shockmaster with that. But now in this scenario, no, I don't usually like saying scenarios, but it happens more times than it doesn't happen, I guess you can say. Is you have your one Avenger in the graveyard from a previous combo you've tried to go off, and you suddenly get an Armageddon Knight or a Dark Griffer. one of my favorite things to do is you summon your Armageddon Knight, and instead of targeting a combo piece that you would want, say, multiples off, like say you even want a Stygian Street Patrol in the graveyard, instead of targeting those, you use something that you can use now instead of the future, which is your Infernity Avenger. So right now, note that you have two Infernity Avengers in your graveyard. Let's say this is your graveyard, this is your field. You have your deck here, graveyard here. Right now you have two Avengers in the graveyard. One of the combos is to attack into something either that's higher than it or the same as it. Thus your monster gets destroyed by battle and goes to the graveyard. Then these two activate and special summon themselves to your side of the field. Now, since your Armageddon Knight was level 4, these both become level 4. Now that's abusable because you can overlay into Yugitopia or Peplo Operative. Now, that does come with a small amount of risk, whereas your tuners are overlaid, and sometimes you can't get an immediate use out of your monster's effect, and so now you have your tuners having been overlaid. So, I mean, it is a good defensive play because it is most abusable in your main phase too, because you have already gone through your battle phase with your Armageddon Knight. Okay, one of the last things I want to talk about is rank 3 versatility. And the reason I run these three, well, the first reason would be because these three are probably the most versatile in this particular deck. And also running only 3 allows you to run more synchros, or have more options to go into synchros. Now, let's talk about Leviair. Probably the best combo enabler in the deck besides Mirage and Launcher. Because it can get you a Mirage, or it can even get you a Necromancer. Mostly summoned by your tour guide, which I don't care if this deck got top 16 in Guatemala with the guy running no tour guides. Run the tour guide. It's just kind of common sense in an Infernity deck. But you run this guy if a monster had been removed from play with your 100 Eyes Dragon or anything else, you can get it back. One of my favorite things to do with Leviair would be bring it out after your combos are all done and add an Infernity Break to your hand, set, have your opponent go. After your combos have been done, you have probably already had either 1 or 2 breaks and probably like 3 or 6 barriers. So you're pretty well protected. Your opponent's turn, you activate your Infernity Break. Now instead of removing from play your Avenger, which is less useful, or your Archfiend, which is really useful, you remove from play your Necromancer, or even your Mirage if you haven't already. And what that does is next turn, since this card would destroy a card your opponent controls, which would protect you, this card is still on the field with 1 attachment to it. I'm going to say it's going to be Tour Guide. Your turn. Draw if it's a spell or trap set, if it's a monster, play it. Detach, special summon your Necromancer, and play your combos off. What that does is it enables you to have combos available instead of going into a bunch of big monsters, although they're protected, be relying on the top deck in order to go off with your combos. So those are all the tips I'm going to say in this video. There's plenty more. It's Infernities. It's really kind of a advanced sort of deck to use. There's so many things that can go into it. I'm probably going to do a number 2 video, or a part 2 video. Tell me what you guys think about the first one, anything I can do better. If you guys want a deck profile, like I said in the beginning of the video, just say so and I'll do that. It'll probably be after I do the second combos. So yeah, remember to rate, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Thanks, and yeah, see you later.